Mr. Victor, is there no class today?
I don't know, Father. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Well done, sir.
Well done, sir. I don't know. Let's wait. Maybe there's no class. The people are usually early.
Okay, I think
That, yeah.
I think the link has changed. I'm trying to see
Oh,
the
yeah.
one on the platform. I think it's different from the one we're given initially.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, please, if you have it, can you send to me, please?
Okay. Is on. Okay, I will send to your phone now. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good afternoon, doctor. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. I'm waiting for anybody who can start. So do we start or we are waiting?
I think we can start, sir.
All right, that's right. Where did we stop last?
We did calendar using different forms.
Oh, okay. Calendar table. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. Am I sharing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's good.
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's me import the data. Which one we use? The Superstore, right? Okay, so far in Power BI, we have seen how to import data. Am I showing you how to import data from a database using SQL?
Yes, sir. We did.
Okay, good. So we have seen how to import data, okay, from Excel, okay, from CSV. What about from a website? Have I shown you how to bring from a website?
Yes,
No,
we
sir.
did. Last.
From
How
a
we use
website.
with the movies.
Aha, okay. And what are the NCDC?
We did the
Yes, but
the COVID stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So they're using SQL, isn't it? Because remember, as data analyst, you basically will do three things. What are the three things you will do? Yes. What are the three things you do as data analyst?
You extract,
You extract, isn't it? You extract the data,
analyze,
analyze the data, and what?
we transform first before analyze.
Okay, so transformation and analysis, everything will come here. Okay. So which tool do we use to extract? Which tool?
SQL.
To extract,
We use
it's yes. You
SQL.
also get data from Excel.
Yes, you can get data from Excel, but most times that data you get in Excel format or CSV format is usually in a database.
Okay.
So they are the ones that will extract it and give it to you. Now, what we learned with SQL is how you go and extract the data yourself.
Directly.
Yes. So now to analyze it, so what tool do we use to analyze the data?
We use SQL as well.
Yes, you can use SQL, yes.
We can use R.
Python.
Yes, you can use your R, you can use your Python. What again? Which
We can also use Power BI.
Yes, Power BI in itself, right? But in terms of the core tools for analysis.
Okay.
So and the most common one we use for is still Excel, using the pivot or tables, isn't it? Now for visualization, we have looked at what Power. We're looking at Power BI.
Power BI.
You can use Tableau. You can use Excel. You can use R. You can still use your what? Python. Okay, but these are the tools called visualization or tools. Okay, good. All right, so now in Power BI, what we have looked at so far, we have seen how to import data from different sources. Yes. After we import the data, what do? We need to clean and transform the data. Okay. Clean and transform the data. Okay. Most times we use what they call ETL. What does ETL stand for? ETL, what does ETL stand for?
Extract, transform, and load.
Exactly. Extract, transform, and what? Load. So once you have loaded it, that's when you can start cleaning and do all your transformations. Okay. So once you have cleaned it, what's the next thing you need to do? Once you have cleaned it, what is the next thing you need to do?
We analyze the data.
Before you analyze it now,
No,
there's
you
something-
load it. I think you load it.
no, we have done it at this stage now. We have loaded it at this stage now.
Okay.
We have cleaned and done everything now. So what is the next thing you need to do? Yes?
Query the data.
Query, you must have done that from here now. Where you
Yes.
have imported the data.
Transform.
eh?
When you have transformed it.
Yes, what again?
Then reports.
Then we visualize.
Visualize. Yes, but you see, before you visualize it, because sometimes the data come from different sources, isn't it? So what
Oh,
do we
okay. You
do?
connect.
You need
You
to
connect
establish
them. Is it
relationship.
the relational data? Yes.
So you need to build your data model.
Yes.
You need to build your data model, okay? Because without, if it's just a simple flat file, they can go straight and do analysis. But most time we are picking data from different sources or different tables or different databases, and we need to now connect them together, okay? Then what do we do next? We model it. So after we model it now, we can now start the visualization. But sometimes we need to now create our own insights, isn't it? By creating what? Measures. So we use what they call DAX.
That's
To
yes.
create what? The measures. Okay? To create what? The measures. Okay? And from there, we can now what? Visualize. Okay, so this is what we are still working on. And remember that DAX is a what? Formula, is it not? It's a formula language of Power BI. Not just only
Yeah.
Power BI, also your Power Pivot in Excel. Okay, and remember that what do we use DAX to do? What do we use DAX to do?
Calculated columns.
Yes, we
tables,
use
and
DAX.
measures.
We use DAX to write formulas and to carry out advanced analytics.
Yes, we use it for analytics, isn't it? But in terms of the analytics we want to create, so in terms of, we used to create calculated columns, we used to create calculated
Table,
Table.
and measures.
Measures. Okay. Now we have seen how we have used DAX to create calculated columns, isn't it? So we have seen
Yes.
how to use DAX to create calculated tables, where we use filter, where you used to create your calendar table.
Yes.
So remember that the moment you see that your data has tables, immediately go and create your calendar or table. So you can see that you still need to go and model it. You still need to go and connect them together. Okay. All right. Then we used to create calculated measures. Okay. And remember that the DAX analyzes your data either using a filter context or what? In a row context. Okay. Then we also looked at how we use a DAX to create some form of what? Measure. So which of the, so we finished a calendar table, right? Did we go into how to create measures?
No.
So we only stopped at tables, isn't it? We stopped at
Yes,
tables.
table. Yes, yes.
Yes, we stopped at tables. All right, that's fine. So let's look at measures today. Measures. Measures. So we're going to see why we will need DAX for the measures. Remember that Power BI works with what? Power BI works with what?
Columns.
Columns, isn't it? So when you are thinking about it, think about it in terms of what? The columns. There are sometimes you need to evaluate it on the row context, isn't it? But most time what you do is just summing up the entire word column.
Column.
So if we look at the data here, for example, if I want to create, so look at this now. You see, this is your table, right? This is your report view. where all your visuals will be. This is your table. So it means if I want to do a calculated column, I will come here, add a new word column. Now, if you look at this now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Imagine I want to add up. I want to sum up, right? I want to add. So let me see total revenue. Okay, total revenue. I'll say sum of what now? Is it sales? Okay, sales. Can we see that? Sum of what? Sales. Can you see what it's doing now?
Yes.
So what do you observe now? What do you observe?
It's showing the same. Is it
Because it's going to
calculating? I don't know.
add up the total sales and replicate it all through here because this is their total sales.
Okay.
Can you see that? Which means if I want to get, for example, the sales, maybe sales percentage, like with respect to the total. So it will be what? Sales divided by what? Total revenue. So in that case, what do we now do? Come and put in percentage.
Change the format. Yes.
Yes, the percentage. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
So you see, it works with what? Columns.
So, but this total revenue, I don't quite understand this. What columns did this sum of?
This sales
Did it
now.
multiply? Okay, sales. Okay.
So that's your total sales. You add up everything in your sales. Up to this.
Okay, so that's why the number is constant.
Yeah, that is
Or the
constant.
total of that particular column.
Exactly,
Okay. Okay.
exactly. So we see now that Power BI works with what? Columns. Okay. So anytime we want to analyze it, we must understand how it works. Because sometimes, even when it works with columns, sometimes we want to pick it row by row. Okay?
Okay.
We want to pick it row by row. Okay? So this is where we'll now come in. So we see that anytime we want to create a new column, you notice that the table keeps increasing.
Yes.
As the table keeps increasing, it means the data is increasing, the size of the data is also increasing.
Yes.
Okay. So in terms of performance, it means that as your table increases, your fiscal table increases, your performance reduces. Okay, so imagine that this was a transaction that every day we're having about 1 million or 2 million transactions every day. So imagine how that data keeps increasing. Imagine you want to do an update. Do you get? Or you want to refresh your report. Because the data is so large, it will have what performance was issue.
Okay.
So because of
So
that,
the way out. Yeah.
that is where measures now come in.
Okay.
That's where measures now come in. You see what I have done here, for example, where I have, let's say, sorry, let me do that again. Let me share my screen again. So let me add new column. So look at this now. So if I have, for example, if I want to get, for example, costs, how will I get costs? How will I get the cost?
Is it quantity times? Is it okay? Look, with less sales, less profits. I think there is no cost column already.
Yes, sales minus
profit. Profits.
This is it, isn't it?
Yes.
So what you notice now, a column has been added.
Yes.
Data has been added.
Yes.
It means that the file of the size of this. Sorry, can we mute? Sorry, please, can we mute?
Ayobami, can you mute?
Sorry, sir.
Okay. So as we notice, as your column increases, your data is increasing. The size of that file is also going to increase. Now, it means that if it keeps increasing in a larger scale, your performance will reduce. Okay. So instead of using your calculated columns, so rather you will use what? A measure.
Measure.
Can you see measure here?
Yes.
Now, a measure is not on the table.
Okay.
A measure does not appear on the table. It only appears on the visual. And it's only when you call it
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Right, to answer you, okay? So what we are going to do now, we are going to quickly create a table. So we'll create a table where we are going to put all our measures. So best practice, just create a table. For example, if I come to the home tab, can you see enter data?
Yes.
I'll just say enter data. Okay, let me just call it measure. Table name, let me just call it measure. Measure. And let me load it. Okay, can you see here? Measure now. So anytime I want to do any measure, I'll just come here and create what measure. Because if you go and create it on the table, you have to go and be looking for it. Where it is. So it's better you just create everything measure in one place. So what do? I can just click here, new measure. So everything, can you see everything will now be under here now?
Okay.
So I can now say cost. How do you get cost?
Sales minus profit.
Sales minus profit. Do you notice it's not seeing it?
I was wondering because before now we used to drop down. There used to be a
You used to bring it down, is it not? So
yes.
now remember, a measure is not on your table.
Okay.
So somehow I need to what? Connect it to my table.
Okay.
So what do? I'm going to create a measure for sales. I'm going to create another measure for profits.
Wow.
Then it should not be sales minus profits. Are you seeing that? You see, like right now, I cannot even see sales.
Yes.
So now let's do. Sales. So let's call it total sales is equals to sum of sales. I'm sure this is clear now.
Oh, okay. So it's seeing this one.
Now if you see this one, is it not? So let me delete this column now, this column 1, so that just say delete from my model. Yes. So now I have total sales. Do you notice that something has changed as if it's calculator now?
Oh, okay.
Now it's like a calculator.
The icon.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So now it's a calculated measure.
Okay.
Can you see that? So it means that, let's look at it. If I go to my table, right? If I go to my table, my sales table, right? So where's my sales? See my sales here, right? Let me put it in form of a card. How much is this?
2.3 million.
2.3 million, isn't it? So it means that if I go to my measure and I take this, how much should this one be? How much should this value be?
Is it the 2.3? Should be the
Yes,
same now.
it should still be the same thing, but the same amount
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Can you see that now?
Okay, yeah.
So the difference now is that this one can be seen on the fiscal table.
Okay.
Right? This one can be on the fiscal table. So that is my sales. But this other one can only be seen on the measure.
Okay.
You cannot see this on the table.
And you can't drill down.
You can't do anything to it. Can you see that? So it is virtual, it's somewhere. It can only come up when I call it. But this one will always be physically present. So this is my superstore now. Every column I add will be physically what's present here. But meanwhile, they are the same thing. One is taking space, one is not taking space.
Mhm.
So that is why for performance purpose, that is why you prefer to use what? A measure.
But is there a limit of number of columns you should have before you start having the performance issues?
No. Now it all depends on the size of the data.
Okay.
If it's small, as many columns, as long as you can manage it, right?
Okay.
But imagine an organization that the transactions every day is like almost 1 million or 200,000, 500 every day, just like that. You see the volume of data that will be growing.
And you don't want to add to it.
Yeah. So the
that's
more
what
you are
we
adding
need
to it,
measure.
the more you are adding more calculated columns to it, the more you are increasing the data.
Mm-hmm.
It is when you now try to refresh or do anything, that way you now see where the performance issues come.
So we're dragging.
It will be dragging, exactly, especially when it's on the network. Okay. So that's why most time you would prefer to use what? A measure. All right. So we are clear with how to create a measure now, right? So this is what? Sales. So let's say, yeah.
I think you need to take it. It's not clear to me for me. If you can repeat it.
It's not clear. What's not clear there?
Just for you to
want to create a measure.
usually do it like twice.
Okay, let's say, let me create another one. Let me create profits. So remember, the cost is sales minus profit.
Yes.
I want to create cost now. How will I create cost? I'll just right click, new measure. New measure. Okay. So total cost is equals to sum. Is it not? Sum of what?
Yes. So
sum of what?
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Here I'll first do profit. Let me do
now.
profit first, right? Let's do profit first. So sum of what? Profits.
Profit.
So I have sum of what? Profits. Which means if I
Cost.
want to do cost now, what will I do?
Total sales minus.
So total cost is equals to what? Sales. Can you see now? It's reading the measure now.
Yeah.
Minus what? Profit. Can you see that now?
Profit.
Yes.
So the difference now is that cost here, where's my cost? So this is my cost now, right? So if I put it in a card, this is 2.02 million. So that means this my measure of cost will be how much? This one should be how much?
2.02 million.
2.02 million.
Can I see they are the same thing?
Is that the put card?
The cards, look at it here now. This is a card. So if I drag my cost here, I'll just change cards. If I want a table, I put in a table. But this one, if I want to put in a table, I put in a table. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So have you seen that now? So we have created what? Cost now. Okay, so that's how we would create what? Measures. Okay, so it means that now another thing again we must also understand is how Power BI calculates certain things. Okay. There are sometimes it goes row by row, sometimes it goes by column. By default, it calculates by what? Column.
Column.
So here, DAX functions are just like your Excel functions. Okay.
Okay.
They are like your what? Excel functions. Okay. But sometimes they are a bit different. They work differently. Let me see if I can use an Excel chart. Okay, let me try and share this Excel sheet with you. So let's say, for example, we have okay, let's say we have branches. Let's say we have revenue. Let's say we have cost. Let's say we have okay, let me say A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E. So let's say we have here run between, let's say 20 and 30. So let's say it's run between, let's say 10 and 15. All right, good. So let's run that, copy, paste. All right, let's look at this now. So normally what we would have done, if I want to get profits, how will I get profit now?
Revenue minus cost.
So this is profit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is what? Revenue minus cost. Like this, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll drag it down. Isn't it? Good. Now then I cannot add up here because this is total.
Yeah.
You know, this is total. If I want to get total revenue, what is total revenue?
Sum of.
You know,
Sum.
Is it sum? Yeah.
it is sum. So this is total revenue, this is total cost. Now, total revenue minus total cost will give me what?
Profit. Total profit.
Profit.
So if I do this minus this, are they the same thing?
Yes, it is.
But look at how he's calculating it. One, we went this way. Sum of revenue, one will be sum of revenue minus sum of cost. Can you see that?
Okay, yes.
That's how we did one. Now
Yeah.
the other one, we went row. This one we calculated using the columns. Why this other one? To get this one, we now have to go row by row.
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
Yes.
Good. So this one is what they call the sum function in Power BI. It calculates it by column.
Okay.
That's what we have been doing before now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one that we have done row by row, which means
Okay.
must subtract this from this and give me this, subtract this from this, give me this, then give me the total.
Mm-hmm.
So in Power BI, it is called a sum X,
Sum X. Okay.
which is the sum of what?
Rows.
The sum of what? Revenue, sum of the revenue minus cost. Whatever answer I get, I will now sum it up. You see, you are getting the same answer, but the way you calculate it, they are different. Do you get that?
Yes. Though I'm yet to understand the significance.
Okay. So it means that anytime I want to calculate it row by row, this is what they call an iteration.
Okay.
We'll use the sum X. But anytime I want to calculate it the normal way, using what? The column. So this sum calculates by what? Column. Sum X calculates what? By row.
By row.
So if you remember that by default, Power BI calculates using what? Columns. So it means if I want to calculate using the row, I cannot use sum now, but I'll use what?
Okay,
Sum X.
Sum X. Okay.
Because sometimes the table
So
may
is
not
that the
come.
one you said is filter contest or something?
Yes, so that is row context. That's row context.
Okay.
Filter context, for example, I have brought out the data. It will now filter it for me like this out.
Okay.
Then you now do a calculation on it. That is filter context.
Okay.
You know, for example, if I have like this A, if I have like this, let's say A, B, B, A, B, A, B, isn't it? So it means if I want to filter it now, it will just summarize it into two for me. Isn't it? So if I have something like this, if I had filtered it, let's say unique. If I had filtered it, right, it would have been something like this. It will give me just these two. They will now do a calculation on it.
Okay.
So whatever I want to do now, even if I want to do a count, so I can say count if my range, right? Then let's say A. Can you see that? So what is it doing there for you? This is what? A filter context.
Okay.
Can you see that? This is a filter context.
Filters and then
It has gotten data, filtered it from it, and done the calculation inside it. That is a filter context.
Okay.
But this one that is doing the calculation row by row is a what? Row context.
Raw context. Okay.
So that's just the basic difference between it. And why you need to understand this is that sometimes the way the values come, especially when you are doing things like average, division, sometimes the values may be close, but they are not the same.
Mhm.
Do you get? So one may be correct, one may be wrong. So you have to just be careful. Okay, so don't just say I have done the calculation there. All right. So this is what sum is doing. This is what sum x is doing. So sum x is going on a what row by row what basis.
Context.
So that's what they call the row context. All right, so let's go. And again, remember that sometimes when you are doing your functions can either return a singular value, which is called a scalar function, or a table, which is a tabular function, table functions. Like your filter is a table function. For example, like your sum is a scalar function. It's going to give you one value. Your average is a scalar function. Your minimum, your maximum, is it not? Your count, your counter, right? They are all what? Singular context. But you see, if I want to do it in row context, the same thing. These ones can only work in columns. But if I want to calculate them row by row, then in place of sum, we'll now have what? Sum x. In place of average, we now have average x. Can you see that?
Oh, okay. So once you want to do row, whatever the function is, you add an
Yes, exactly. But I don't know whether they have counter x, but I know they have count x. So you have min x, max x. So that's so you just don't know when to use what. If I'm just calculating only the columns, I'll use this one. But if I need to go by row to do the calculation, then I'll use what? Sum x. Okay. All right, so let's go back now. Everybody, I hope you are clear with these calculations. So this is an example of a row context. This is a row context. This one here is like a filter context. Okay. All right, let's go back to Power BI. All right. So let's say, for example, I want to calculate the margin. I want to calculate margins. I want to calculate the margin. Let's go to table. How do I calculate margin?
Profit divided by sales. Gross margin.
So let me go there. So it will be what? Margin.
Gross margin, right?
Yes. With what?
Total profit. Is it total profit or just profit now? Since you're on a table.
So this one we have to create on the column now.
Okay, calculated column. So it's profit divided by sales.
It will be profit divided by what? Sales.
Sales.
Can you see the two things now? One will show you measure, is it not? So I'm looking for sales.
Because we've created the measures. Okay.
Yes. So where do I have sales there? Can you see my sales there? So one is sales, one is total sales. So you know which I am picking. So let's run that. So we have something like this, isn't it?
Margin, yes.
So it means that if I want to create a measure, how will I create the measure now? For margin.
So are we going to use the total profit now?
Exactly. So you are going to use total profits and what?
So what we wanted to find out for each of the products?
For each of the products.
Yes.
Now you know that whenever I take, for example, this, I take, for example, category. You know, when I take this measure and drop it here, what is it doing? This is a filter context.
Oh, I see.
Can you see that? So it's going to already filter it for you and do the calculation of that filter.
Filter. Okay. So I had thought that it was just that 2.3 that is there.
No. So that's what they refer to as a filter context.
Test. Okay.
Can you see that? So it means that this margin, for example, I have calculated, it will go there and go and what filter it for me and do the word calculation for me.
Okay.
But take note. When you do it this way, you see by default it's going to sum everything up for you.
Yes.
Can you see that? But does this make any sense to add up the margins?
No, it's supposed to be an average.
So you are supposed to take an average. So you must understand how it's calculating it for you. So that means in this case, what will I do? I'll switch it to what? Average. So does this make more sense?
Yes.
Can
So
you
it's
see
not
that?
in percentage because we didn't change it in the table, right?
Now
So
here at this point, I think did we change it in percentage?
we
So if
did
I want to
it.
change the percentage, then I just put percentage sign there. Okay, so if that's in percentage, so let me come back here. So here will be percentage.
Yes, that's updated.
Okay. So if you understand how it's calculating, you calculate for the first. Can you see? So this is 5%, 5%. So at the end of the day, it will now what sum up everything for you by default.
But you have to
But
change
sometimes taking the sum of it does not make any sense.
Yes.
So
Depending
rather,
on
we
the
now have to
measure.
do the what average exactly. So we now have to do what the average. Okay. So the same thing is going to happen if I want to now create a measure for it. So if I want to create a measure. So here, if I call it margin, let's say gross margin. So how will I calculate my gross margin now?
The total profit.
It will be total profit divided by what?
Total sales.
Total sales, isn't it? All right. So which means if I take my category here and I take my gross margin here, right? So if I put that there and I put percentage sign, are they the same thing?
Yes. 3.
No.
No, it's not the same. 2.4. 13 and 16. No.
They are not the same thing.
No, it's not.
Can you see that? They are not the same thing. Okay. Let's look at it another way. You know what we have done here? We have taken the value of this our margin here, isn't it? Then when we got here, we now took the average.
Okay.
Do we get that? Now here, you know what it's doing? It will take that total over the other total because it's working in columns. So by the time you put it to filter it, it's not giving you the actual listing. So what we have actually done was that take it when you are filtering it, but give me the average of it. This is already an average, but this is not an average. Can we see that?
So which one is more accurate?
From the calculation, now this should be more accurate now when we use the average of it. Okay, but let's look at another way. Assuming I want to now calculate it this way now. So what will I do? I want to see calculate the margins now. Because you see, once you are not clear on how you are going to calculate it on paper, because it is easy to just build this and go and present as a report. Meanwhile, the wrong thing you are presenting there. So that's why your domain knowledge is very important in how you are creating your measures. Okay, and understand how Power BI calculates it. So if I was to create the margin now, let's say GM, gross margin. Now remember what we have done is that we have taken for each of them, is it not? We'll take the average of each of them. So to take the average of each of them, what did we do?
Average of each of them. I don't understand now.
You know when we calculated here.
For each of the categories.
Yes, for this one. Now what did we do here? We are taking what? We took the gross margin and have taken The average, isn't
The
it?
average, yes.
Good. So it means that what have we done? We have calculated the average for each of them. Is that not it? So that means if I am going to calculate the average, am I calculating the average for the columns or for the row? In this context now.
I think it should be for the row because
For the row, is it not?
yes, if you
Mm,
calculate for
because
the column, it seems
Exactly.
that
So
simply means
because
that we are
this
calculating
one is one
average
that
of average.
calculated for column, exactly. So that means the average I will do is average what? Is it average or average X?
Average X.
Average
okay.
X. Okay. What is my table? What is the table? So can you see the argument now? Table. What is the table name? The table name here is Superstore. Is it not?
Superstore, yes.
Superstore. What is my expression now? The formula now, is it not? It was what? Total profit.
Yes. Divided by
Total profit divided by what? So when you say expression, expression is just like the formula over total what? Sales. Okay. So we have done another calculation now. So let us check. So this is category. Now this is gross margin here. Okay. So let us put it in the percentage terms now. And let's see. So which is correct now?
Okay. It's the same with the calculated
Can you
column.
see that it's not the same with this one now? Can we see that now?
So this is the row, how the row context works.
Yes. Is this clear now? Because it's very easy to just do this and Power BI will give you value, but you will not know which is the words correct thing because you need to understand how it's calculating it. Can we see that? Although the difference they are not so much, but there's still a difference. One is the correct thing, one is the wrong. Can we see that? So you must understand how Power BI does its word calculations. So that's why it's better. Just always look at it in the table first. This number, does it make sense? You see that? Otherwise, if you calculate, it's garbage in, garbage out.
So is it safer to always use the X then?
I would not say it's always safer, right? It depends on how you want to do it. The normal average, if you are doing calculating by each column, it is easier to calculate by each column. But you need to understand how the calculation is going. Okay. So by the time I have
Francis.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, is it appropriate to say this is like cross-casting?
Cross-casting?
Yes.
Okay, in the sense that what now?
Like, you know, where maybe we are building a model.
Yes.
You are adding up some, what you've been adding up forwards in maybe in rows or in column. Yeah. At a point in time when you get maybe, okay, let's say you are building a model, you are now at the gross margin. Now to ascertain that maybe what you've been doing so far is actually right. The same figure at the subtotal level, at the gross profit. You now highlight across maybe January to December in row.
Thank you. Just like your pivot table. Just like your pivot table.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Exactly. So you see on the column context, the total will be the same thing. But by the time I now take it to the pivot table now, you will notice that by default it's giving me everything in sum. But sometimes that sum does not make sense. Like for example, sum of the margin without giving me like 10 point or 100% or 200%, which does not make any sense. So which means at that point, when I filter it, I need to now calculate it on average basis. So to go average by average, so average of furniture, average of office supply, average, so it's going on a row context. So in that case, I have to calculate it row by row within this filter. Okay, so the point here is just for us to understand how Power BI does its calculation, and we should what? Not just jump and say this is what the right thing. We must take time to look at it, whether the calculation makes sense. So it's that why sometimes if you use it on this tool here, by the time you put it on the table, so you first of all understand, okay, when I do it on this table, yes, this table would have been easier, right? But let me see what would have given to me. So that means this would have been the correct thing, isn't it? Because if we have done it and got the other way, this gross margin here, and we just generalize and say, okay, this would have been the correct thing. Then in that case, if I am now taking the total of it now, if I'm now putting in table format now, let's say I'm putting the total form of it now, one will be giving me 12.02. This one will be giving me 12.43. So as you imagine this was like a return on investment now, I'll say 12.43, and now it's 12.02, right? I would have said, oh, this was doing well. Meanwhile, this was the actual value. And you draw conclusion based on what? The wrong amount. But although because it's 12.12, you notice that the difference is not so significant. But where it is significant, then you just draw a wrong conclusion and just mislead you on what you are doing. All right, so we have to just be careful about that. So are we clear with how to use the, imagine now, for example, let's look at this. As if we want to create cost, you see this cost that we have done here, we created a measure for cost, right? How did we do cost? What was the measure for cost? Look at how we did it. It was what? Sales minus profit, isn't it?
Profit, yes.
Sales minus profits. Okay, good. So let me take category now. Let's take category now. And let me take total cost there. Can you see it? Have you seen it now? This is total cost now. Now let's do it another way. Let's do it the same cost. I want to use the same cost. Look at how we got cost. It was total sales minus total profits. Isn't it? Total sales minus total profits. Okay. Then that difference. So remember, this is like the column, is it not? If you add the column, then subtract it. Assuming I want to go row by row, how will I do it? Row by row now. How will I do the calculation? Row by row.
You do the X.
Yeah, so in that case now, let me call it cost. Let me call it cost X. Okay. So here it will be what? Sum X.
Sum X.
Is it not? So what's the table?
Superstore.
Superstore, comma. What's the expression now?
Total sales less profits.
Total sales less what? Total profits. So it has done this. So let's go there. So category. So let's take total cost X. Is it the same thing?
It's the same thing in this
It's the
case.
same thing, isn't it?
Mm.
But you see, the way it's calculating is different, but you arrive at the same result. The first one was going on the column basis. This is going on the what? Row basis. Clear?
Okay, so because for some it doesn't matter.
Yes, it doesn't, because either way, you know,
The
you still give
direction.
the same thing.
But division is a different thing.
Yes, when you are doing division, maybe a different thing, exactly. Now let's go to something now. There's something called, there's another very powerful function. Let me show you something like this now. You remember when we calculated total sales here, right? Total sales.
Imagine it's a total
Let's say,
that
let
it
me
was
create,
constant.
I was constant, exactly. So let me call it total sales. So let's say total sales. total sales. You know, if I have said sum of sales, isn't it?
Mhm.
It will give me the same value all through.
Mhm.
What if I say sum X of the sales? Will it give me the same thing?
No, I think it will do it one by multiplying the rows. Abi?
It will
I
what?
don't know. I was thinking it was going to give for each of the categories, like on row basis.
When I now say sum X now, so what's the table? Superstore. Now, what is the expression now?
It will be quantity. Abi, right? Okay, sales is already there now.
Sales, right?
Yes.
If I just take sales now, what did he do?
It's giving the same thing.
He picked and give you the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what we actually want to do, we expect to see, we want to separate it. We want to separate it. Because this is not on a card, right? So what is actually do? Just repeating what, just give you that total value, repeat it all through. That means that even if I use sum or sum X in this column, it really does not matter. It will still give me the same result. But if I want to now separate it so that even after within this calculation, I want to separate it into these values, is it not? Now there's a function called calculate. There's a function called what? Calculate. So calculate is just the only function that allows you to what? Alter a filter context. So even when you have done the calculation, right, you can see further what break it down. So let's look at this for example. So let me create another column now. So look at this now. We have here, let's say sum. Let me say total sales 2. Let me say total. Let me say total sales 2 is equals to what? Normally, this would have done sum of. Is it not? Would have said sum of the sales, isn't it? Sum of what? Sales. This is what we have done, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, in this case, we are going to use what they call calculate. Calculate. Let me bring out the function cal. Let me bring it out. So there's a function called calculate. Can you see that? Calculate. What is the expression now? The expression is what? Sum of what? Sum of what? Sales, isn't it?
Okay.
Now look at what it's doing now. Can you see that?
Okay, so it's just repeating the same.
Look at
But it just returns sales.
it returns sales for me because if you calculate the sum of it inside it, now give me for this one. So it's filtering it on that basis for you. Because this is what you wanted to do now, isn't it before? But it was still returning only that single value. It means if I want to already spread it out, right, in that filter context, then I will now have to use what? The calculate. It is only calculate function that can alter a filter context. Because this total sum already, you have already like filtered it into one. But now I want to break it down. So that is where what calculate now comes. That is one of the most powerful functions you have in what? In your DAX. Okay, very important.
But Francis,
Yes.
But Francis, in this context, what information is it giving us that is different?
No, the point is that what I'm just showing you here is how it works. How it works. Because if I go and put it in the DAX form, you just see it's calculating it, but I'm not seeing what it's doing at the back end. Okay, so what calculate is doing for you is even within this calculated value you have here, which would have been a single value, it will now help you to what? Break it down on that row word basis. We are going to see other applications of it. Okay, but the point here is that your calculate function can help you what break. So within already a function, you can further what filter it down with that calculate. Let's say for example, you want to get, let's say, okay, you see this total sales. Let me see region. Okay, let me take region. Let me see region. Oh yeah, good. Let's see region now. Let's take total sales. Now look at this now. Assuming I want to just get southern sales, how will I get southern sales? Just southern sales alone. How will I get it? Southern sales.
That's like a filter. You want to
Total.
filter only.
Total and minus central, east, and west.
So how will you do that? That's how we now do
I don't know, calculate.
that. So you see, if you wanted to do it the other way, you'd have brought maybe your slicer. Maybe I brought a slicer.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll use the slicer.
And maybe I take my region there. And where's my region? I take my region there. Is it not? Then I'll now slice it by this. Then this is what I will have, isn't it?
Yes.
I think that's what you'd have done. So how will I now compare? Okay, I want to compare central with south. I want to compare east with south. I want to compare west with south on the chart. Can you see that? You are not able to separate it out. And that is exactly what was happening here. This total, we cannot easily separate them. So what will now get for them individually? So that was when calculate now came into play. So now what to break it out. So watch now what will happen. So I want to create now another word. I want to create a measure called south sales. Okay, south sales. Okay, let's say so south sales. So let's say for example, south sales. Okay. So normally what we would have done, because there's already a calculation, because even when we sum it up, we want to filter that summation, isn't it, into the different words groups. So what we first of all bring is calculate. Calculate what? What's the expression now? Sum of what? Sum of my sales, isn't it?
Okay, the sales
Now,
of
if you notice now, sum of my sales, isn't it? So let me close the brackets, comma. Can you see filter now? Can you see the filter? So I want to now filter specifically. Look at the argument to comma. You will notice there will be a filter. Can you see the filter?
Oh, okay.
So I now want to filter it now. This is what we're trying to do manually. So for me to now filter it, what's the filter
Yes.
there? So it will be region
South.
is equals to what? South.
Oh, okay.
Can we see that now? So it has done the calculation. Now let me bring it down here. Can you see that now?
Oh,
It is only calculate that can do this. Then now I can now visualize it and now see, okay, let me now see it. You cannot do this normally with your normal tables. So your measure.
Sorry, but so this is the south against total when you visualize.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only on the table. Okay, the south against each of them.
Each of them exactly. I want to now
Yes,
compare
it's south.
this
Okay.
Because sometimes just presenting on the table, you may not really see, because maybe this is small. So it is, at least you can easily compare, right? You can just say, okay, this to this. As if it's now larger, that's why you now see how this works. Okay. Imagine that you wanted to combine, maybe we notice that, let's say, we want to combine, okay, east and west. We want to combine east and west. How would I do that? How do we now combine east? maybe east and west.
Want to sum them up?
Yes, we want to sum them up exactly. We want to sum them up. So east and west, look at east and west to give me what? So let me, east and west will give me about what? 1.4 million, isn't it? So it means that I want to extract, how much do I want to now extract from that value?
1.4.
Yes, I want to extract this 1.4 and then compare it with central, compare it with what? East. So for example, you can say the combination of this region gives us whatever. Okay. So in that case, if I want to do that, what I can do here, I'll create another measure again. Let me say, where's my measure again? Measure. Let's say sales. Which one did I say? I said east. East and west. So what now? To be calculate what? What's my expression? Sum of what? Sales, isn't it? You notice that I'll close the bracket first. Can you see that sum? I'll close it first. Comma, then I'll now enter the filter. Now, what's the filter now? Region is equals to what? East. So how do I now get west now? How do I get west now? Is it and?
I don't know.
Is it 10%?
Are we going to use and or? Which one? Is it and or?
It will be and.
And. Now, if you look at this table, is there any place that you can see east and west?
Oh, okay. No.
It is either what? East or west.
Okay.
Can you see that now? It is when I'm working with two columns that it will be and. If you are working within one column, it is or.
Take that again. Within and.
If I'm working within one column,
Within one column, okay.
it is or. It is central or east or south or west. But if I am working with two columns, it is category equal to furniture and total cost is greater than 500,000. Can you see that? So if I'm working within the column, it is or. If I'm working with two or more columns, it is and. So this adds two conditions. So in this case, it's going to be what? Or. How do we use or here? Or region is equals to what? Is it west? West. So we have created it now. So let us come here. So let's add it now. Can we see that now? Can we see it now?
Okay, so okay, because the other west was there, that's why it's showing 3 bar.
Yeah. So you are calculating the total, is it not? South sales, west sales. Okay. So you see how, so that's what exactly your measures are doing for you. In fact, your DAX basically helps you to create your own unique insights.
Yes.
What you want to see, because normally you have never seen it on the chart that way. So you now have to then create your own. Okay. So that's why the calculate function is a very powerful function. Maybe let's look at another function. Let's look at another one. In the Power BI, we have what they call time intelligence. We call it time intelligence. Time intelligence. We didn't create the table here, right? We don't have our calendar table here. Okay, let me create the calendar table. So if I was to create a calendar table, how do I create the calendar table?
New table.
New table. New table, okay.
Is it from here you're doing it?
Where?
Can you do it from here as well?
Yes, now.
Okay.
Where do you want to create it from?
They used to go to that adult table.
Okay.
Like the one we did last week.
Which one? This one here.
Yes.
If you want to now, you see the same thing now.
Okay.
Yeah, see the same thing. So I say calendar auto,
Also,
right? So let us. So what do we do next?
they used to do like day, month.
So for example, I want to extract the year. How do I extract the year?
Yeah.
It is what year? What's my date? Date. Where's my calendar date? So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's create another one. Let's create what now? Let's create month. How do we create months?
No.
Yes, months. We do what? Format. My calendar date. So the format
Yes.
isn't it? So next thing I want to bring out is the month number.
Francis, if you
Yes.
do only one, if you do only 3 M's, it's just going to bring out January.
Yeah,
January.
you just bring it in this thing now. If I just do 3M like this, you just abbreviate it.
It's just going to bring out Jan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So let's go to another one. So remember, when I use it, this is already a text, isn't it? So I want to bring it to format it as month. So I'll say month number will be what? Month, right? Where's my dates? Calendar dates. My calendar dates. Okay. So I need to tell Power BI, please, this month number, sort it by what? Sort my month by month number. Okay. So I have months now. What's next? So we have year, month. What again? Which other one?
Day.
Eh?
Day. Day of the month.
Day of the month. Okay, so how do I do that? Day of the month.
The day of the month equal to calendar auto format.
So you want day? Day like this. So you say format, calendar, date. So DDD like this.
Yeah.
Okay, you want day. So that's it. Like this.
Yeah.
Okay. This is more like a name of the week, right?
That is the name of week. Yeah.
This name of the week. Okay.
Okay.
So if I want to create another one, if I want just the day, right? Day itself. So I think I can use the day function. calendar. So can extract the date for me. Which other one again do we create? Week number. Okay, if you want week number, how do we get week number? Week number will be what? Week number, calendar. Sorry, calendar. So that's my week number. Is there nothing left? Quarter. Did we bring quarter?
Yeah, quarter, yes.
Let's bring out quarter.
What about
So how do you get quarters out? So format, calendar, date, isn't it? Then what? Quarter, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think there's a function called quarter, isn't it? So if I say calendar, date, it will now arrange it for you. It just give you 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Can you see that? You just arrange it for you. So depends. So let us go back to that our format, calendar. Okay, any that's left? Okay, that's fine. I think that's all. So what do we do next? So once you have created your calendar table, what's next to do? Once you have created your calendar table, what's next you need to do?
Connect it.
Yes, so you need to connect it, isn't it? So what do? I'll come to my table tools, mark as date table, select it, dates. Okay. Great. So I'll now come to my model and now connect it. So I'll take dates to where? Other dates. All right. So hopefully, if I come to my calendar month and I have my sales. Okay. So that's what I have. Then if I come to my superstore, let me take my dates. My dates. You now notice now it does not automatically arrange it into day, month, quarter, and the rest, isn't it? You notice that before it would have taken it as day, month, and the rest. Because now we have told it that please, anytime you see date, ignore this guy and always use this guy. Okay, so that's why it's not automatically calculating it anymore as dates. All right, good. So now what we want to do is what is referred to as time intelligence. Time intelligence. Time intelligence. And now if you look at it, for example, because this your time intelligence, you must first of all have what? A calendar table. Okay? You must have what? A calendar table. So there are sometimes you may want to have, let's say, for example, okay, let's say we have months there. Let's say we have year. Let me take year. Year. So let me take year. So can we see that we have? Let me take it up here. So we have year. We have the month, isn't it? And let's say we have sales, right? So we have year, month, sales. Year, month, sales. Okay. But what we actually want to see is that most times for these our dates, let's say for example, let's go to our year. Let's confirm our year is calculating for us. So if I take my sales now, let's see what it is. Sales. So is it calculating correctly for us? In that order? Is it calculating correctly?
Yes, it is. Okay.
What about quarter?
Can you take that again?
What about quarter? I want to calculate the quarter.
That's not. I don't think it's correct.
Okay, so for the quarter, we'll just drag the quarter. We're just checking whether it's picking them correctly, isn't it? Because once you miss, once it's not picking them correctly, then we'll be having issues. We'll be having issues. All right, I think it looks okay. Quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay, let's see now. Okay, no, that's fine. Let us try it now and see. So if I have taken, for example, let's say I take, for example, the year. Now, if I take the months, I'm trying to see. I want the months to. Okay, so this is January, February, March, April to whatever. Okay. Then let's say sales. Okay, look at this now. Look at what it's doing for you here, right? This is January. This is the amount in January, isn't it? This is February. Okay. You know, sometimes you may want to say, how much have we sold to date? So it's like, you call it year to date. Year to date, isn't it? That means
Yes.
that, for example, in February, year to date will be how much? In February, year to date will be how much?
January first.
10,000.
It will be what?
Money made
3.9.
January and February.
That will be how much?
3.9 estimated.
About 3 point something,
4
isn't it?
million. Yeah,
About
3.
exactly
Yeah.
about 3 point something. Isn't it? So that means for March will be what? January, February, March.
14 thereabouts.
Exactly. So that's how we are going to do. So it's called year to date. Okay. So if you want to do a year to date, let me see. So let me do year to date. So let's say year. Okay, let me just say sales YTD. So that's like saying sales year to date. Right? Sales year to date. Now remember that most times what we are doing, we are using our sales. We are using our what? Sales. Okay. Now because it has been calculated, we don't need to split it, isn't it? So we need to say calculate. The expression is our what? What's our expression? We already have our total sales now, isn't it? Otherwise, the expression would have been sum of sales. But because in our measure, we already have sum of sales, so I will just take the measure there. Okay. All right. So what do we want to do now? So we want to filter it. How do we want to filter it? How do you want to filter it now?
Is it by
So
categories
there's
or
Y, is there YTD? Can you see? Okay. YTD, that's year, dates. Let me see which of them.
Yes, total YTD.
Total YTD. Okay, so what's my date? So what's my date now?
2014. Like, is it year? What should we say?
Say expression.
Okay. Is it calendar? Or what should?
Let's check now. What will it be? What would I use now? Year to date. So let me see. So we have white sales. White is what? Comma. So filter here will be total what year to date. So what's the expression now? Evaluate the interval. So what's the expression we're going to use now? Do we say sum of what? Or do we say total sales? So which data are we now going to use?
today?
Today?
January 2014 to February 2016.
January what?
2014 to February 2016. To February
January
2016.
2014 to 2016. Now, if you look at what you already have there, right? So most time, you see this total here, this is like saying the total year to date. But there's another one called, because this one you need to put an expression there. There's another one called dates. I think there's dates year to date. Can you see that? Dates year to date. So this is the one actually that allows you to put the calendar there. Can you see that? So what's the calendar? So calendar date, is it?
Month. Date.
Calendar date. That's just all I will use there. Calendar date. So it will go and give you year to date. All right. So let's see now. So let me drag this guy and come and put here. So let's see that it's calculating correctly. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Is it calculating correctly?
Yes.
So that means this should be this, but this one should be this plus this. This should be what? This plus this plus this. Can you see that? So in the same way, if I want to do, for example, this is year to date, right? So sometimes we may want to also do the same thing, but we want to do month to date. Month to date. So to take it from the first month of that, so that I can say sales month to date. You know what it's doing for this sales to date? Take it from what? The first year, that's January 1st of that year, to whatever date you are talking, that's 31st December of that month. But month to date will be first of that month. Whatever
exactly.
date you have there.
Yes.
Right? So in the same way, I can say calculate. What am I calculating? What's the expression now? Total sales, because this is my total sales is sum of, you know, this one I can still do the same thing as sum of sales. Can you see that? But because I have already done it in the measure, then I'll just use the measure instead. So I'll just call it total sales. Okay? total sales. So now, what do we do now? So what do we do now? Okay, I don't need to use sum now since it's already this is already now. Since it's already a measure, it has already been summed up already. Okay. Let me see, comma. I have filter. All right, yes. So I'll say what? Dates, month to dates. Dates, month to dates. So let's say dates, calendar dates. Calendar date. So that is sales month to date. So let's say, for example, which one will show us what we need now? If I put it here, that you almost give it as if they are the same thing. If I drag it and put it here, sales month to date, to be as if they are the same thing. Right? Okay, let me see. So sales month to date, let's start from the beginning and see. This one look as if they are the same thing with this, isn't it?
Yes.
So let us take, so for example, what we are doing now, let's take the days.
Only 1 month.
Yes, let's take the days. Where's our days function? We have months here.
There's day before that one.
We have day, right? We have days. Which other one again? So if I say month to date, let me see. Month to date. Why is it giving you only January?
February.
Okay. February, let me see. So we have that. So let me take my, okay, let's say the year. Let's take the year there. So we have that. But I want it so that when it filters it, you filter both the months and good. Then let's say the day. Let's see month to date. Let me see. All right, good. All right, good. So it means that for January, this is for the month of.
Is yet to date, Abby. Because it means like sales did not happen. Abby, month to date.
January to date, month to date. Year
Not
to date would have just
cumulative.
given us for the total, but this is for the month. It's not cumulating. If you
Like
look
I'm
at
saying,
it, that
either
means,
sales happened only, did not happen in lots of days.
yeah. So transaction. So that means this last date here. This is the month to date, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is from January of the 1st January of that date. If there's nothing there, it will remain the same. If you sold something there, we'll have a value there, isn't it? Up to this 31st should give us the same value here. Can you see that? For the next one now, it will be what? 1st February.
0. Yes.
Is it not? 1st February, that was the amount we had there. So that's the month you'll be calculating. If there's no sales there, it will just accumulate the same amount. Until there's sales, then till 31st December, or this is 28th February. This is month to date, how much you have sold for that month. So you see, this type of measures, they are so specific. Because normally, unless you have to go through the entire table and looking at it one by one, isn't it? So with this one, they can easily help you to just do the calculations for you. So the same way we can have quarter to date. So basically, if I want to do quarter to date, what will I do now? Quarter to date, what will it be? So let's say sales, quarter to date. Can you see that? Sales quarter to date. So what's the function? So what is the function now? What is the function? Calculate, right? Calculate what now? Total
Total
what?
sales.
Total sales. Yes.
Calendar quarter.
It will now be what?
Calendar quarter.
Okay, quarter to date.
Date.
Quarter to date. Can I see? Okay, this is total quarter to date. But what we want is date quarter to date. Can you see that? Date quarter to date. And now put the calendar there. Okay, lock it down. So which means that, so let's create another table again. Let's say this is our year. This is our month. Isn't it? So this is our quarter. Where's our quarter? You see, if you did not create this table like this, the one that we have on this our calendar date, you cannot separate it this way. You can't separate it this way. So that's quarter 2. So if I say quarter to date, so let's say quarter to date, let's see. So that means that this is for month of January, month of February, month of March, right? Then, so that means if we bring days now, let's bring days and put days there. Let's put days after month. So let's bring this here. Bring it after the month. Oh yeah, let's see. So this is for Q1 up to, so let's do it this way. If I want to see it, so let me bring my quarter. Let me bring my quarter. Let me bring my sales, total sales. So that means at the end of quarter 1, this is how much I should have. Isn't it? At the end of quarter 2, this is how much I should have. At the end of quarter 3, this is how much I should have. At the end of quarter 4, this is how much I should have. Isn't it? But remember that what is calculating for you at this point is all the quarter 1 from 2014 to 2017. Can you see that? That is not what we are trying to do. What we are doing here is that for quarter 1, accumulate it and stop at Q1, the value for Q1. So where's our Q1 value? Where does it end? So this is the cumulative for what? Quarter 1. But do you know what is happening here? This one is adding. Remember what we are doing here? Under this sales, your total sales. It means add everything from where? Quarter 1, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. So it's adding it for 4 years. So to confirm if this is correct, what I can now do, I can now take, for example, let me take my year. Let me take my year. Let me filter it. Let me put a slicer there. So this first one will be what? 20 what? Let me put it as a list. So let's say 2014. So 2014. So my 2014, so all this is quarter 1, 2014, quarter 2, 2014, quarter 3, 2014. So that means my quarter 1, I should have, can you see that? Let's go. Quarter 1 will end in March now, isn't it? Quarter 1 will end in March. Is that right? Can we see what's happening? So that is the value that we have here. So you see, sometimes it just does the calculation, but you need to understand what's happening at the back end. Otherwise, just look as if you're just calculating the same thing or calculating nonsense for you. But what it's doing is actually what breaking them down into what the different aspects. It's just like, for example, yeah.
I wanted to say, can we not just use slicer? That's
no. Yes, you can use slicer. No, what I'm just saying is that sometimes you don't know where you need it. Do you get? Okay, because this one will go in details. Do you get? This one will go for you in details. it's just like say, for example, let's say we have okay, let me create another one now. Let's say we have, okay, these are the years, right? Okay, this is slicer. Let's do it. Let's say, for example, we have year, right? We have, let's say, sales. We have sales, for example. You know, for example, if I want to compare, how did we perform this year compared to last year? Do you get this year compared to what last year? This year compared to what last year? Okay, this year compared to what last year. So it's just like say previous sale. That means I want to compare. So for 2014, we will not have anything there, isn't it? We will not have anything here. But for 2015, what do we have here? For the previous year will be what?
2014.
It will be 2014. So I can now compare 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, 2016, 2017. Can you see that? Now, if you just had this table, now how are you going to do that comparison on the chart? So how are you going to do that on the chart now? So that I will have 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, 2016, 2017. How would we do that now? Can you see that? So that at a glance, you see, just by looking at these two, I can see that this is bigger than this year's progression. But sometimes, looking at it, you cannot really tell whether there's a significant difference there unless you put them side by side. And again, this one is small, so it is clear. But when it's a bit larger, you want to put them side by side, you see that it's very difficult for you to use your eyes to see it that way. Okay, so that's the reason why we sometimes need this type of what measures. Okay, so if we want to create a measure that will tell us, for example, the previous year sales, the previous year what sales. So if I want to get the previous year sales, that means that I will say, oh, this year, the previous year sales. Okay, let's go. So let's come here. Let's say previous what? Previous year sales. Previous year sales. Okay. And what's previous year sales? We'll now say calculate. Calculate what? My total sales. Now for previous year, there's a function called previous. I think there's a function called previous year. Hey, beautiful. So can you see that we have previous year, previous day, previous month, previous quarter? Okay, so this one what is previous year? So let me put the previous year. So let's put the calendar date. Calendar date. So previous year sales. So let me take previous year sales and put it here. Previous year sales. Is this correct now? Is this correct? It's correct.
Yes,
now, do you see the reason why? You remember when we created calendar auto? Remember when we calculated calendar auto? We noticed that in the original date, there was only 2017 there. Isn't it? But when he created calendar auto, we now saw 2018. Did you remember that? The first time we created calendar auto. When we checked the dates, it was 2014 to 2017. So we expected to have seen 1st January 2014 to 31st December 2017. That's what we expected, isn't it? But you now notice that I created up to 2018. Do we remember that? So the reason why I created 2018 is because of something like this. So that when I want to do like a previous year sales, it can take what? 2018, the previous for 2018 was 2017. So that's one reason why it will calculate it like this. So I can now put it on the chart and now want to compare. Can we see that now?
Yeah.
Can you see that? So now I can now want to compare them. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. So we have now seen how we have grown. Because normally you cannot plot these charts. Or is there a way you can plot this chart like this?
Hmm.
So this is how you now create your own unique what insights, right? In fact, there's another one again. Let's say for example, today's date is what? Today is what now?
September 4th.
September 4th. Sunday.
September 4th. Now, if they ask you, can you tell me how much we sold this time last year? Can you tell me how much we sold this time last year? Do you understand that? So we sold today. Is it not? Maybe we have made sales, maybe 10 million. Can you tell me how much we sold as of today? Today, last year, the same period last year. Okay, same period last year. So that means if this was a particular date now, how much did we say last year? Okay, so let's try and create that. So same period last year, because sometimes some kind of questions people will ask, you want that means I have to go down into my data and go and now start filtering it to do that. But with measure, it is easy to already filter it for you. Okay, so we can call it sales same period last year. Okay, now in that case, the same way calculate what is we have in my total sales. So there will be a function called same period. So same period last year. What's my date? Calendar dates.
So I thought you have something like year on year.
You said? You said what?
I thought you have something like year on year. Year on year.
Year on year.
Year on year is for comparison between this year and last year.
Yeah, that's different from same period last year.
Same period.
It's just like, say, for example, let me take for example, let me say year. Let's say year. Let's say you take months. Let me take, let's say, okay, let's say day, year, month, day. So it means that, for example, let's say, for example, 2015. Okay, let me filter 2015. So 2015 now, right? So this is 2015. So 2015, January 1st, same period last year will be what?
January 1st, 2014.
It will be what? It will be January 1st, 2014.
January 1st, 2014.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is what same period last year. So let us see. So let me filter that. So let's go. Same period last year. Where is it? Have I created it? Same period last year. Did I create it? Okay, yes, same period last year. Okay. So that means for same period last year, this value, does it make sense for you? This value, does it make sense to you?
Okay, no, I
don't
understand it.
You don't understand it. Let me do it this way. Let me take sales here.
2014.
Let me take sales here. You understand this one, right?
Yes.
Sales.
Yes.
Now let me now take same period last year. Can you see that? Will you see anything for 2014?
No, there's no
No,
previous.
because there's no
There's no
2013.
Exactly. So I will now come down to 2014. Can you see that now?
2015.
2015 now. Can you see that now? So it was this one that I was showing to you. So if I now filter 2015 now, will you understand it now? So this is what? How much you sold on this date. This period last day, did you sell?
No.
On the 6th,
No.
this is how much we sold, is it not?
Yes,
This
sir.
day last year, how much did we sell?
19.
1944.
Can you see that now? They may look small, but sometimes it may be very necessary to pick it. Otherwise, you'd have been going to filter one by one to check each of them, or you'd have just gone to the data and go and look for it one by one. But this one is already calculated everything for me. So this is called same period what last year. Because normally you will not be able to do this. These are what they call time intelligence. They are called what? Time intelligence. Okay? They are called time intelligence. All right. I think, although you have quite a lot, but I think this is just the basics of what we need. So normally what we do with our DAX is just to create what? Unique what? Insights. Okay, so you can create as much measures as you want, is it not? Depending on what you want to show. Okay, I don't know. I think with this, I think we can end Power BI here. Or do you want us to stick until with Power BI?
You can end this, sir. We are going to individually build on this basic knowledge.
Yes, because this is already the foundation. So we have to show you how to import the data, how to connect to your database, how to clean your data, isn't it? Unless you just take projects and start doing. But what I want to do, make sure that we cover as many tools as possible, because this is a new month already, right? So we're expecting to enter another one, 2. Okay. So which tool should we enter next? I think there are 2 left for us now.
There is R.
There's R.
And then Tableau.
R and Tableau. So which one should we go?
Maybe we should take R because we wanted to take it before we took Power BI.
Okay, we should take R, right? Should take R. Okay, that's fine. Do we agree on this?
It's okay.
It's okay.
IJ, are
Now,
you there? I'm asking if IJ is on the call so that maybe he can give us the final word.
No, if all of us agree on this, then we can start this.
It's fine by me, sir.
Yeah, fine by
okay.
you. Yeah.
We're okay with it, yes.
Okay, the only challenge that some of us we have. How many of us did not join us when we started with SQL or Python?
I wasn't here then.
Okay, you were not here then. So the challenge you may have is that this will be the first time you are doing anything programming. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Okay, that's okay. So we'll try and be slow with it. We'll try and be slow with it. So that means that your first introduction to programming is R. And that
So the issue I'm having is I tried downloading the SQL. It wasn't successful.
My SQL Workbench.
I saw the link on that the Excel recording, so I tried downloading it from there. I got to a point and they were asking me for certain details, and
which details they ask you for?
More like a login, server details or something like that.
That means you use your office laptop.
Oh, okay. So what am I supposed to do?
It don't work with office laptop.
So what you are going to do, what you can also do, just snap it and put on the chat. Let us see what the problem is. We'll try to sort it out for you.
Okay, they've not added us yet. So what I just said was that Jacinta needs to do we need to choose our club before we can be added to the group.
Okay.
Go and take salad from her.
All right. All right, that's fine. Let's see. Who else? So what you can do, you have IJ's number, right? So just snap it.
Yes, I have his number.
So just snap it and send to him. He will let him try and resolve.
Can you have 200 naira change before?
Yobami, can you mute?
Okay, that's fine. Is it that after all this R and Python, you're going to start afresh again? Is that it?
I'm not sure I'm going to start afresh because I'm handing over to you guys.
Or maybe to next year or what?
No, I'm handing over to you guys. to handle. It's you guys that will be teaching it now.
Ha.
My own job was this year. I just decided to make sure I go through all the tools for you guys, right?
Okay.
As many tools as possible, right? So that's why we started with our Excel.
Okay.
Maybe the only thing I can do is just to go back to some of them. So we started with Excel, we went to SQL, from SQL to where?
I saw Power BI there. On the,
It was not
on the
Py-
recordings, though.
was it
Python.
Python. So we did
On the
Python,
recordings.
from Python to Power
To
BI.
Power BI.
So now from Power BI to what?
R.
R and what? Now last one will be Tableau. Now, if you see for some organizations that use Power BI, they will learn with Python. Those that learn with Tableau, they will learn with R. Okay, but either way, once you have learned one, it's easy to migrate to the other one. Okay, so we'll try as much as possible to cover. So we'll start with R. So what you are going to do, you will download R and R Studio. Just go Google, just type download R. Then you see another one called R Studio. You must install this one first before you install this one. This one is like our IDE in Python, right? So just download R, then you download R Studio. So there are two different things, R and R Studio. R is the native one. This is so that you don't be scared about it. So this is what we will use the environment. Okay.
There's R 4.2.1.
Yes, just download the latest one that you have there. So
Dr. Francis.
Yes, please.
Elizabeth raised up her hand and she has been raising it up for a while.
Oh, sorry, who is that?
Oh no, it was when he asked the question if some people were not here when you guys started SQL.
Okay, you are not here. So that means R2 will also be your first introduction to programming. Is that the case? Or you are familiar with programming already?
Yes.
Okay, don't worry, we'll just try. But the only difference is that why I usually prefer people learn Python first is that Python is much more versatile. This is just called on statistics. This is called statistics. Okay. So what we'll just try, we'll try and build machine learning models with it. But you see basically your statistics, so those are your regression and but the only difference now, we are going to now build a model out of it. Okay, so we'll try as much as possible. What we have done in Python, we'll try and do the same thing with what R. Okay, so just make sure you try and download R and R Studio. So by next week, okay?
So what's the second one? R what?
Yes,
R Studio, R Studio.
R Studio.
R Studio. What we can do, let me quickly say, download R. So let me paste it on the chat for you now so that you can. So this is your R. So somebody can copy it out there. So the next one is what?
R Studio.
Download R Studio. So download R IDE Studio IDE. So download. So choose your version. So you see the free version. So just copy and let me post this. All right. So that's it. So if somebody can just take that out and you can go and download it now. All right. Is that okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, that's fine. But please just try and be practicing. So this is your.
Can you put it on WhatsApp because I'm using my phone now?
Somebody who has it up, whoever takes it up, help us post on the WhatsApp group. Help post on the WhatsApp group. All right, so we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis.
But please try and use projects. Everything you have done in Excel now, try and do the same thing with Power BI. All those your reporting you have been doing before with Excel, try and do them with what? Power BI. Okay. Because gradually,
Thank
most
you,
people
sir.
now, they will have abandoned Excel now and gone towards Power BI. All right, guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, thank you.
Have a great
I'm
weekend,
going to
sir.
survive.
All right, now. Bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.